You ready for the weekend?
No, not really. I'm really stressed about the KSA test.
Yeah, me too.
I wish we knew some tips how not to be stressed.
Don't stress because you will have success. Here's your tips on how not to stress.
Landon, why are you so tired?
I've been stressed about the KSA test and I haven't had any sleep.
Make sure to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night and go to bed at the same time each night and get off your phones 1 hour before you sleep so you can stay focused.
Ooh, look, donuts.
Make sure to eat healthy. Some good examples of this are eggs, toast, and yogurt.
Make sure to eat healthy because it can improve your test scores.
Why are you meditating?
So the KSA test is giving us very much stress, and meditating will get you on a good mindset and stop you from stressing. So we just started meditating.
I'm one of the 8th grade math teachers.
What are some tips about the test?
Okay, so for your math needs, make sure that you go back and reread the question after you have answered it to make sure that you've actually answered what the question is asking you instead of just plugging numbers in.
All right. And also, how do you cope with stress?
I myself cope with stress by meditating.
Okay.
So counting to 10, taking a breath, clear my head.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What are some tips that you could give us for 7th grade math test?
Well, I think that for this 7th grade math test, first of all, we're going to rock the test. We do not stress. First of all, the tips I would give you are this. I want you to eliminate choices where possible. If you cannot eliminate a choice and you just can't come up with an answer that matches, you're going to make your best guess. But above all things, you always give 100%.
And how do you cope with stress?
Stress? I have a donut. Oh no, I take a deep breath and I just stay positive. We're never going to stress. As long as you're doing your very best, it's always good enough. Remember that.
So what are some of your test-taking tips for science?
Okay, make sure to read every segment and every question carefully. If you need to go back and look up to try to find the answer, please do so. Don't take a guess, a random guess. And then when you're done, go back and check over those answers just to make sure, number one, that you've answered everything and not left anything blank. And number two, that, you've got the right answer.
And so how do you cope with stress?
Well, stress with test taking is actually a normal thing that happens to a lot of people. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You can help prepare by getting a good night's sleep. Also, anything that you enjoy doing, if it's walking, playing games, whatever, to help calm your nerves before you test, all of that would help with the stress of test taking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some healthy options in the morning to eat?
Well, we have egg and cheese biscuit, which is always good with milk and juice, and a healthy apple will help you get your day started for testing.
Where are some places where we can get breakfast here?
You can always come to the cafeteria by the art room or by the ISAP room. We serve second breakfast.
Alrighty, thank you.
You're welcome.
What are your tips for our test?
Hi, thanks for asking. Okay, so the first tip I have is answer the questions that you know first. Then always double check your answers if you find out that you have extra time. Use all the time that you're given, and eat a good breakfast, and just make sure that you always do your best.
What are the ways that you cope with stress?
Okay, so if you're feeling stressed during the test, it's a good idea to take a quick brain break. So maybe you could tap your foot at your desk. Maybe you could count using your fingers, like you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do that over and over. You could also take you could do some guided breathing. So like you could count in, like breathe in, count to 4, then hold your breath and count to 4, and then let it out and count to 4, and then just keep repeating it. So things like that kind of help out during the test.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you stressed about the KSA test?
No, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to go try my best.
And how do you cope with stress?
I try not to worry about it.
So I'm here with Mr. Schrader. So what are some tips about the test?
Well, the best thing that you all can do is take your time. Read over the questions carefully. I know it's different on the computer, but you know, the main thing is just to try your best. And as long as you all try your best, we're satisfied with that. Make sure you get plenty of sleep the night before, eat breakfast that morning, and you know, just be ready to go. But you know, the main thing is to try your best, and all we want is students to get completely done with it. And if you do that, and it's with your best effort, that's the only thing we can ask for. But read carefully, make notes. If you can take your scrap paper and write some things down after looking at the questions. I mean, I'm not real familiar with the computerized version because I know you can only see one screen at a time. But just be as careful as possible. That's really the main tips I got for you.
Yeah. And how do you cope with stress?
Well, the way I cope with stress is that's a good question. I don't feel that stressed out that much, to be honest, but I think about, you know, what the Bible has to say about things, and the main thing I always remember about how Jesus taught us not to worry about things. And so stress comes from worrying, and if Jesus has taught us not to worry about things, that helps out a lot. So I try to think a lot about the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, and that helps me more than anything.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some tips for the test?
Some good tips for test taking would be to read the questions before reading the passage and going back and double checking your answers.
Okay. And how do you cope with stress?
Get a good night's rest and make sure that you eat a good breakfast so that way you're not too hungry and not too tired right before you get ready to take your test.
Okay, thank you.
So we're here with Mr. Schroeder. So what are some tips about how not to stress about the test?
Well, state testing every year creates a lot of stress for teachers, students, everyone in the schools. But honestly, it shouldn't be as stressful as what we make it out to be. Some things that you can do beforehand, obviously you want to get a good night's rest the night before. Make sure that you've had a good meal that night and a breakfast the next morning. I would, during the test, make sure that you're breathing, because sometimes we get panicked a little bit, but just make sure you're breathing well. Take deep breaths and slow breaths. Then whenever the test gets started, you need to just pace yourself. You don't want to start off too fast and then finish too early and think, well, I've got all this time now, and then you start second guessing things. So just pace yourself, but don't wait till the end to start really getting into it. So just making sure that you are putting forth a good effort, and as long as you're doing your best, that's all we care about. Not every student in this building is the same, so if you're giving a good effort, understand that we're proud of you, and we expect you to give your best effort, not comparing you to any other students here in our building. So no pressure. Do your best, guys. Good luck on the test.
Layla, are you cheating off of Audrey?
Why would you even think that, Ela?
Make sure not to cheat.
What are you doing?
I'm setting my screen time so next week I'm not on my phone as much as I am focusing on the test.
Remember to lower your screen time so you can focus more on the test.